All right, first round of the draft just wrapped up. What I wanted to do very briefly is give my three favorite picks from last night. But before I get into it, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. The goal before the end of the summer is 5,000 subs. So don't forget to hit that button and let's get into it with my three favorite picks from the draft last night. I'm going to start with my favorite team. That is the Washington Wizards, and they picked up Tre Johnson, one of the better shot creators in this draft. I think the second best shot creator in the draft. Not only can he create his own looks off the dribble, but he is an amazing shooter off the catch. And I'm not just talking standing out in the perimeter and waiting for someone to get him the ball, but he's very active off the ball. One of the better off-ball movers, especially along the perimeter in this class, which is a very unique skill set for a young player to be that proficient as an off-ball mover into shooting. And I think that's a skill set that's going to come in handy, considering that he's going to be playing off of C.J. McCollum a bit when he's healthy and Chris Middleton when he's healthy. So I think that's a translatable skill set, especially in his first year, while he's going to kind of be sharing some shot creation duties with those guys. Not only does he have that ability, but he's also an amazing playmaker. And I think that's one thing he had over Ace Bailey, because I know there are conversations about Ace Bailey dropping to the Wizards, but that's one thing he has over Ace Bailey is he's a much better playmaker than him. So I think he was an amazing selection. And I think the Wizards have been missing like this elite level perimeter shot creator who can do a few more things on offense. They've been missing that in the draft for a while here, and they finally got it with Tre Johnson. The next guy I've got is Egor Demin, who was selected by the Brooklyn Nets out of BYU. One of my favorite picks in the class because he is just one of the more unique players out of anybody else. 6'8" or 6'9", depends on where you look at or who you ask. Played at the point guard position for BYU. I'm always interested in like these taller point guards because there are a lot of success stories and there are a lot of horror stories. Success story would be Cade Cunningham or would be LaMelo Ball. Horror stories would be Ben Simmons or like a Michael Carter-Williams. Now, with those two guys, they had really good starts to their career, but they fizzled out because of a massive lack of a particular skill set, which was the ability to space the floor and knock down shots. In the Simmons case, he just wasn't shooting the ball. So with Demin, you really wonder where on that spectrum he's going to land. Has a ridiculous amount of upside, but I think one thing that separates those great taller point guards from the other ones is the ability to shoot or at least get to their own shot. He can do that a bit. And he's much better than Simmons at that coming out of college, but how consistent is he going to be when it comes to that? Right? So we'll see. But you draft for upside. The Nets are rebuilding. They are known for their ability to develop young players. I think he was a really good pick. I think he could fit very well alongside with Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas. They are going to need a point guard and a playmaker to kind of facilitate and organize the offense a bit, especially with D'Angelo Russell being a free agent this summer. So we'll see what ends up happening, but I really love the selection. Again, just a very intriguing and interesting player at the point guard spot, and we'll see what happens. But one of the better playmakers in the class, and I think if you are trying to rebuild and get towards the path to a successful rebuild, you're going to need to have some playmaking to some extent, and he is the best playmaker in this class. I'm excited to see what he's able to do in year one here for Brooklyn. Definitely going to be one of my favorite guys to watch through the summer league. Now, there are some questions too, like, do you really play him at the point? Because there are some guys who are point guards on the collegiate level as these taller guys, but they get into the NBA and they're slotted in different positions. And he's versatile, right? He can play like the 1 or the 3, or maybe act as a 4 sometimes. Maybe you're putting him in like situations where he's screening and slipping. Who knows? So that's like a blessing and a curse, right? Maybe you don't play him where you thought you were going to play him at that point guard spot. Or the blessing there is he's versatile enough to play in a bunch of different areas and in a bunch of different positions. But there is that question. But there's the versatility that's on the floor there. And also, not only does that translate on the offensive end, but it translates on the defensive end. He was guarding power forward sometimes for BYU. So we'll see. But I love Egor Demin, and I'm excited to see how he plays once the summer league and the regular season rolls around. Last guy is the most controversial, and that is Ace Bailey. I thought he was going to slip to Washington. I said that a bit earlier, but obviously Utah took a swing at him, and they got him. Here's the thing. It's not too complex. The Jazz need a home run prospect. They have not had a home run prospect since Donovan Mitchell, and we are well past the Donovan Mitchell era. There have been some solid hits in the draft. There have been some guys who are question marks, and there have been some misses. So some solid guys they've gotten would be Keontae George. I still think he has a ton of potential. Isaiah Collier, who had a pretty solid rookie season when he was on the court and was amazing as a playmaker, but none of those guys yet have become slam dunks. There have been misses, right? Taylor Hendricks still hasn't grown into the player that he needs to be. Now, to be fair, he did have a pretty significant injury last season, so there's still room for him to get to where he needs to get at, but again, haven't had a slam dunk guy. Ace Bailey is the second best prospect in this class, in my opinion. As far as pure talent, he's the second best. As far as upside, second best outside of Cooper Flagg. You get him. It's as simple as that, right? You want to make a swing at the best guy available if you're Utah, because again, haven't had a home run in a while. Ace Bailey is a home run level prospect, right? Even though he slipped, does not mean he's like the fourth or fifth best prospect available. He is simply the second best player in this draft, in my opinion. You go get best guy available if you're Utah, and this simply was the best guy available. They've got solid player development. I think Will Hardy has done a good job at connecting with the young guys. So I think this is a good environment for him, especially from a basketball standpoint. They've needed a guy like him for a while, needed a slam dunk. Very, very simple. Ace Bailey is a slam dunk. The best shot creator in this class, can get hot, has like this T-Mac level approach to the game. You go get him if you are the Jazz. There's no overthinking it, right? There's no way to look at it any deeper than what it is. Go get the best guy available, and the best guy available simply was Ace Bailey. And there were a number of other picks that I loved. I love Dylan Harper over to the Spurs. Obviously, Cooper Flagg to the Mavericks is going to be great because he's playing alongside with some veterans, and he's going to have the potential to play pretty deep in the playoffs. And there is some solid history of some really high draft picks playing well deep in the playoffs. Perfect example, Jason Tatum, right? Had a really good time in his rookie year playing in the conference finals with the Celtics. So we'll see what ends up happening, but those were like my three favorite selections of last night, and we'll see how some of these other teams will round out as the draft continues into the second round tonight.